Back in Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, I played a Paladin deck that was based around Bran, Don Honcho, and then landing both of the buffs on Leeroy Jenkins, and then for 10 mana you go Leeroy plus Blessed Champion for an OTK. And I wanted to recreate that deck in Kobolds and Catacombs, so I was originally going for Leeroy, Don Honcho plus the Val'anyr buff, which gets the Leeroy up to 30 after you play Blessed Champion on it. But then I saw some gameplay of how ridiculous Val'anyr can be with Doppelgangster and Serenite Chain Gang, because you start getting a bunch of Val'anyrs, and then you can get a ton of buffs all stacked on one minion or across different minions. And it kind of just seemed like Val'anyr plus Doppelgangsters and Chain Gangs was going to be a more efficient way to buff up my Leeroy Jenkins than playing Don Honcho. Don Honcho just costs a lot of mana. So that's the interaction that the deck is kind of built around. You copy your Val'anyr with minions that say summon copies of this when you play it. You get a bunch of Val'anyrs, they all break each other, they buff something in hand. Hopefully the thing they buff is Leeroy or the Chillblade champion. And then you have a charger with a bunch of attack, you double its attack and kill the opponent. I've also got some other hand buff things in the deck because the Serenite Chain Gangs and the Doppelgangsters want some more support. I've got a Call to Arms package because I'm playing Paladin, so not playing Call to Arms would just be a mistake. I'm playing some defensive minions like Plated Beetle and Mistress of Mixtures, and even Dirty Rats to help keep me alive. I've got Loot Hoarders for some card draw because I really want to find Val'anyr with this deck. And I've even got a Nat Peggle because all the cheap card draw sucks, so I'll just play Nat Peggle. And sometimes you pull it off of Call to Arms behind a Dirty Rat and they can't deal with it, and it draws a bunch of cards, so Nat Peggle's dope, I guess. I've also got a Rummaging Kobold in the deck. You tend to want to be breaking your Val'anyr, so sometimes it can help you get back a Val'anyr, I guess. I'm not sure that this is actually good, I'm pretty sure it's not. But for now there's a Rummaging Kobold in the deck. If you cut the Rummaging Kobold, then you can actually cut the Rallying Blade and play Prince Tel'Daram as another way to copy Val'anyr. But I think it might just be better to play a second Rallying Blade, this card's pretty good. I think that's pretty much everything. There's also a couple Cult Masters for a little bit more card draw, because if I haven't emphasized this enough already, this deck really wants to draw Val'anyr, and there's no good way to draw it other than just drawing a bunch of cards. This deck does look pretty similar to more typical hand buff Paladin lists, but I think my version is quite a bit more defensive with the particular early game cards I'm playing, and the Blessed Champion is just spicy.
Uther versus Gul'dan. Your soul shall be mine. I will fight with honor.
I got the Val'anyr, which is nice. I think I'm even going to keep Doppelgangster with Val'anyr. I've got a lot of turns to pick it up again, plus I've got Chain Gangs. Yeah, I just want early game, I want Call to Arms. Also, he could be Zoo, in which case even holding the Val'anyr kinda sucks. Oh, 2-drop and Call to Arms, easy. So do I want to coin out the Beetle into that? Burning the coin's not great, but he could very well be Zoo. I want to coin out Val'anyr on turn 5. Cool, he tapped this turn. Oh my god, Call to Arms into Call to Arms. Probably coining that next turn and saving the Val'anyr for turn 6. Because if I hold the coin for Val'anyr, then I'm playing the first Call to Arms on 4, and then I'm coining Val'anyr on 5 and not playing the second Call to Arms until turn 6. And that just doesn't seem great.
No, trust me.
Nice, got a lot of card draw. That's what I'm hoping for in this matchup. The Dirty Rat would have also been pretty good. If he has Defile, he can clear here, but otherwise this Peggle is actually kind of a pain. Okay. I think there's actually some consideration to just play Call to Arms here to make my future draws better. Not sure though. I also very often get Blood Mage Thalnos, which is nice. I think I am going to play the Call to Arms here. I have this guy for turn 5, this thing for turn 6. So much card draw. Feels so good. And then next turn I can play the Enforcer, get lots of hand buffs. Or I could go Smuggler's Run Chain Gang. I don't really love playing the Chain Gang though when I have the Val'anyr. Another Cult Master. Yeah, I mean, I think the Enforcer just makes sense here. Got what, 6 buffs out of it? 6 buffs is pretty solid. This Lone Champion is actually a pretty interesting card to see. It means he's probably more of a control lock than a cube lock. So he's probably still playing Void Lords, but maybe not Skull, maybe not Doom Guards. Alright, that's a pretty inefficient clear.
The end is coming!
That's fine. I wanted to equip my weapon this turn anyway. I think I will attack with the weapon.
For justice.
Because a lot of the power of it comes from the Death Rattle. I eat 2 damage and don't do any significant damage to his side of the board. But I think just getting the Death Rattle primed is pretty good. Okay, Rin. Probably pretty unlikely to be too relevant against my deck. Don't know if I can get behind Dark Pacting it there. Actually, I'm pretty confident I cannot get behind that. But, you know, whatever. So, I really want this to land on either Chain Gang or Doppelgangster. So I kind of want to go Smuggler's Run and then play at least 1 Mistress. That way I still have 5 mana and I can play either of these. I could even play the second Mistress and just accept that if it hits Doppelgangster I can't play the Doppelgangster this turn. If I'm going that far though, I should probably just also throw out a Cult Master. Yeah, let's just try really, really hard to get this Val'anyr to buff one of my copying dudes. Wait, do I just hold on to the weapon? It's a little bit worse if I draw another minion next turn, which I am pretty likely to draw. I guess I hold it, actually. Yeah. I was still able to get everything out of my hand. Or most of my stuff out of my hand. That's fine. I was actually super close to lethal here if he didn't do anything defensive. Blessed Champion made Cultmaster have 12. That means I had 20 on board. That's pretty silly. Oh, I can draw so many cards with Cultmasters here. That seems very appealing. Oh no, I can't because these guys... My guys are too big, I can't draw any cards. Unlucky.
Let me think.
Well, I probably want to... Definitely want to get the Death Rattle out of this. Do I want to... I mean, I'm happy buffing this guy too. Although buffing these is way better. I really don't want to buff the Cult Master. Might even just play out the Cult Master first.
Let me think.
Because Cult Master is a pretty shitty buff.
For justice. I must move quickly.
Chain Gang is the best one. That's fine. So do I want to charge his face? I have 14 burst next turn. I'll just hit him. If he's able to clear my board here, I get a guaranteed Val'anyr on one of my copy dudes. And with the 2 Mistresses in play, it's pretty unlikely I would actually be able to deal lethal damage to him next turn. Alright, that's fine. I draw 4 cards here. Actually pretty close to running out of cards. Did you really want to play the Ooze there? I find that somewhat questionable. So I'm definitely playing this 100% of the time. What do I do with my other 4 mana? Probably do not want to ever play these because I'm getting pretty close to fatigue. So I'm probably just going to go for Smuggler's Run. I could go for a Chain Gang. Let's just go Smuggler's Run, this guy, and then the Doppelgangster. I have lots of Val'anyrs. He needs, like, Twisting Nether or something here. And I'm not sure that Twisting Nether really helps him as much as he thinks it might. Given that he's playing the Lone Champion and the Acidic Swamp Ooze, I think this is pretty likely to be a Twisting Nether list. But he's giving me, what, 2 Val'anyr procs? Very likely to hit at least 1 Chain Gang. Okay, he's just gonna play the Void Lord. That thing is pretty large. Gonna go face with the Ooze. I guess none of the other attacks really make that much sense. I don't play anything that really deals with Void Lord, which is, you know, maybe not optimal, but whatever. What? No. What? I guess he's scared of Spellbreaker. But that seemed... I don't know if I can get behind that one. Let's just equip this Val'anyr. Play a big Chain Gang. And we can start smacking through his taunts, push 8 face damage, kill the Ooze. I did get a Chain Gang out of my hand, which would have been one of my better Val'anyr buffs. But I have another Chain Gang, and more importantly, I have a Chillblade champion. And if this Chillblade champion gets a couple buffs, he's just going to die, because I do have the Blessed Champion in hand already. Twisting Nether, sure. Pretty well expected. And then the Doppelgangsters all poop out their Val'anyrs. 3 Val'anyrs died this turn. And this is a very large Serenite Chain Gang. Play the Chain Gang for sure. I was actually 2 off lethal there. Leeroy was 6 power, I could have 12'd him and then Val'anyr'd him. Could have left him at 2, prevented the tapping, but this is just way better. It basically has to be second Twisting Nether here, and then... I mean, he's 100% dead. Okay, Gul'dan might keep him alive. He has lost a Void Lord and 3 Void Walkers. So yeah, there's definitely no way I have lethal here. But I can push through a lot of his stuff. Use a Chain Gang here. Wait, this guy's a Death Rattle too? I missed that. So I can do this. He has, what, 5 Void Walkers? I can push through 4 of them. This guy's a Death Rattle, right? No, he does not have a Death Rattle. Neither of these have a Death Rattle. All of my Val'anyrs are in play. Let's start with this. And then this, I suppose. I could actually draw a card here and then get the buff on a Doppelgangster, potentially. It's pretty unreliable, though. Alright, so I have 1,000,000 power on board. If he clears me, I don't know how many of these have Death Rattles. I think they all have a Val'anyr. These guys have 2 Val'anyrs. This is going to be a very large Leeroy Jenkins if he has another Twisting Nether. There might even be like a Defile play here. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 on the board. You could also get a 6 by trading in the Void Walker. I don't believe he has a Defile setup on board, but obviously he has some cards in his hand that could help with that. Oh wait, yeah, he just hero powers one of my Chain Gangs, sends the 3/3 into the other. And then the highest thing on the board is only 4 health. No need to get it up to 3. They're up to 7. Okay, Hellfire, sure. Oh wait, those guys didn't even die? Or is Hellfire not gone off yet? I don't know what's happening. Is my board cleared or not? Okay. I should have had like a calculator prepared to pull up on screen so I could do the math. That would have been a good meme. I think this is lethal though. Minus 37. Okay, got him.
Uther versus Val'anyr.
Watch your back.
I will. fight with honor.
Probably want to toss the potions since I have the smuggler's run. Do I want to keep the 2-drop? It is pretty good against rogue. Keep this hand. Alright, I'll probably smuggler's run on turn 1 with this hand. Hit 3 separate minions and we get a double dip on Chain Gang. And in particular, it makes this guy a really good turn 2. Oh my god, and the call to arms. I mean, I would have preferred to hit a minion there, so it gets buffed by my smuggler's run, and then I draw the call to arms in the next couple turns. But that's fine. No complaints.
Nothing scares me.
God damn, that's an aggressive opener. I would probably rather play a 3-4 than a 0-4 into this board. Should be obvious why. Backstab SI. Jesus. Well, I think his curve has been literally perfect so far, short of a big headwind. But Call to Arms is the great equalizer. Or is it better to play Chain Gang? 2 3-4s? Theoretically trades with his board. Although not really. He's gonna have the SI7 agent still up if he trades correctly. I think I'd rather go for Chain Gang than Call to Arms here. Very often the Call to Arms is just hitting like Loot Hoarders and Thalanoses, and they just don't trade that well on the board. He could have traded 1/1/1 into one of my guys, left it as a 3-3, the other 2 into my other guy, leaving it as a 3-2, and then traded off the Selfless Hero into the 3-2, Divine Shielded the SI7 agent, and then killed my guy. Pretty sure that would have worked if I'm thinking of it correctly. Decent pulls, I guess. The Dirty Rat and the Plated Beetle were better. So I guess this is actually kind of a low roll, short of getting a second Loot Hoarder over a Mistress. But even the low rolls with Call to Arms are still ridiculous. Oh, that's good. Oh my man, you can't be missing turn 5 like that. Could draw 2 cards with Cult Master here if I wanted. I'd probably rather get another set of buffs out of this than drawing a card with Cult Master. I guess I could draw just 1 card with Cult Master. And then what, play a 2/2 Thalnos? Could also just play the Chain Gang here to protect my guy. It doesn't line up very well into this, but again, it protects my guy, so that's probably worth it. I'll even play out the Peggle. There's no way he can deal with both Peggle and the Grime Street Enforcer. Come on, Nat Peggle. Hell yeah. Dude, Nat Peggle's killing it. I only have 3 targets left for Call to Arms, so I probably should play it. If I charge one of these guys into his horse, I can probably protect my guys for another turn. Could also just push, what, 15 damage or something? That is quite a lot, even though he is healing for this. Could just hold on to these. Then next turn they charge for, what, 11 damage? That probably makes a lot of sense. Let's just go for Call to Arms. And I guess I'm pushing face. I have 7 minions on the board against a deck that doesn't have AoE. The Mistress is hidden behind 2 pretty big taunts. I've got 11 charge damage out of hand next turn. Seems like it would be difficult for him to not die here. Yeah, I have a Dirty Rat, you can't target that guy. Yeah, I still have a Dirty Rat, you can't do that. Wow. I got him spooked. Which is probably correct. He should be spooked. So, how do I trade here? This guy goes in here, these two in here, these two in here, and then we have our 11 damage. Oh wait, this is 11 damage, right? Don't even need the Mistress. All I had to do with the Mistress was not trade it off and give him 4 health. Man, he had a crazy opener that game too, but then he missed turn 5. And I had double Call to Arms. Call to Arms is a hell of a card.